All right, what's up, Tech? I'm super excited for today's video. We're going to be taking a look at ticker symbol QS. This is Quantumscape, and we're going to break it down using the Fibonacci levels. We'll take a look at the Bollinger Bands, and we're going to highlight a key chart pattern. All right, this is a bullish chart pattern along with some bullish divergence on our RSI. Okay, so stay tuned to the end of the video, so that way you catch all of it and you get the best value out of the video. I also want to mention I do viewer requests every single week. So if you have any stocks you want covered next, or maybe a specific strategy or tutorial, let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to do that for you as soon as I can. Um, the first thing I'm going to highlight, okay, is our swing highs and our swing lows on our daily chart. Okay. This is going to be what we're using the Fibonacci's off of. All right. From this swing high down to our swing low of 822. All right. That is our price level. Okay. Our swing high to our swing low. And the way the fibs work is, you know, these levels essentially down here, the 23.6 and the 38.2, these are going to be some very, very strong resistance levels. Okay. Because, we fell all the way down to the 0% here. Okay. And, the 1643 and 2151 are going to be some major resistance levels for us. Okay. If we are able to get past those, all right, then 2561 is going to be a little bit of resistance as well. And once we flip that, we're above our 50% on the fibs. And, that could be a sign that we're breaking, this downtrend. All right. But until then, those are going to be some major resistances that I think are going to be very hard to overcome in this bear market. But there's something giving us a little bit of hope, and it's this nice descending wedge pattern. All right, this falling wedge. This is a bullish pattern where you'll see a breakout to the upside. Okay. That's not guaranteed. All right. There's no 100% guarantees in the stock market. And we do have to wait for confirmation of a breakout. But we do have the pattern forming nicely. And we are squeezing very much along this pattern right now, going right towards the end of it. So we should see, hopefully a nice breakout to the upside. But again, no financial advice. This is just some quick breakdowns. All right. So we took a look at those major resistance levels. I want to zoom in on the chart a little bit more now and cover these ovals. All right. And what we're doing and what we're seeing on our chart is we're creating lower lows. All right. It's a simple stock term that you should get familiar with. When you have a low and the trend is continuing where you're making a lower low and then an even lower low. All right. But if we look on our RSI here, actually, we're creating higher lows. That's something known as bullish divergence. It's an indication that you may see some bullishness in the near term future, right? It doesn't tell you that there's a trend reversal and that the stock is going into an uptrend now, but it's telling you that, hey, the relative strength is increasing, for the price of this stock as the price has continued dropping. So you may see buyers step in at these price levels because of the relative strength. Okay. And what you can see is a nice little bounce. All right. So if we take a look at our RSI here, all right, here's our first low. All right. And here's our second low. All right. So that's when we got a nice little pop. All right. And we had a let me take that arrow off of there. We had a very nice little rally. Okay. If we look, we got that nice little pop, 24% rally. Okay. We created another low and created an even higher low. All right. And we had a very nice rally there. Okay. Of about another 20%. Okay. So what we can do now is we can look at our RSI. Okay. And go ahead and zoom in on this and take a look here and go ahead and determine where some possible entries are for our next trade if we wanted to get in on QS and play a bullish position, right? What we can do is we can look for the bounce of this trend line here from here to here. Okay. So that would be essentially this trend line. So you can wait for the RSI to come down and touch this level and see, all right, if it finds support here, all right, then we could see some potential bullishness and there may be another 10 to 20% move over the next few days in the stock price. All right. If not, if we don't find support there and we break this level, what tends to happen is we tend to see a sharp drop in the stock because the bullish divergence has died off from the relative strength. Okay. So that's your first trend line you can look for a bounce off of, or you can look at the top trend line from this low to this low. All right. And you can see that this trend line is a little bit sharper. All right. And you can look to see if we're going to come back down and maybe bounce along this top trend line. All right. So those are two areas where I would look for a re-entry on a potential swing trade, right? And if we break this support again, you can cut your stop loss or have your stop loss on, whatever risk management you're using, and potentially even get into a nice bearish position, because now you know that there's no more bullish divergence along the relative strength index. So the price is going to drop lower, right? One thing that does give us great signs of a potential for a breakout, okay, is that on our RSI, oversold is about 30 and overbought is about 70. We're currently sitting right at 42. All right. So, we're going to creep up towards 50. All right. And most likely face resistance here at our middle Bollinger Band. And again, this top resistance trend line. Okay. So, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of bullishness. The entire week last week was very bullish. This middle Bollinger Band is a very strong resistance level for us. Okay. So it's an area we need to be prepared for, along with this trend line here. As we have not broken this trend line, we have tested it several times and come close to it, but we haven't broken that trend line. And until we break that trend line, we're going to stay in a downtrend and keep getting rejected there. All right. But if we do break this trend line and go to the upside, all right, here's going to be our breakout levels that we pretty much need to pay attention to and be ready for. All right, we're going to use the fibs, go right here and take our high down to our low of 822. All right, and this is going to give us, using the Fibonacci's, our breakout level, okay, and our bullish price targets. Okay, so if we zoom back out of the chart a little bit, what we can see here on a much larger time frame is that we're seeing, once we get this breakout of above 1364, okay, we're most likely the stock is going to want to head up to 1511, and then 1643 is that 23.6 level that I said on the fibs. That's going to be a very tough resistance level. Okay, so we have two short-term bullish price targets, right below it at $15, and then right above it at 1699. So I expect to see a lot of action in this area and it to be a major resistance level for us as a whole. Okay. However, if we are able to break past that, again, we have the 38.2 Fibonacci level. Okay. And we have our 261.8. These are at 2241 and 2151. All right. So if we take a look at the pattern, all right, the chart pattern, all right, what we should look for, and what, the way that the pattern works is you would look for a breakout from here up to these levels. Okay. And once you break past these levels, that's when you can come up here all the way to the 29 and the 31. Okay. So, it really take a very big catalyst for something to continue us all the way up to $31, especially being that we're, right around $10 right now. That's a 300% rally. So overall, do I think that this chart pattern is going to, take us all the way back up to 30 in the next month or two? I don't, right? There's a lot of market conditions that aren't in our favor, and a lot of things going on with the Fed. So, some of these plays, are very risky, but there are some great setups. Okay. So, you don't have to look and try to play for it to come up to 30. Okay. There's a potential that could happen. We're watching it to see if that's going to happen. And we have our breakout levels for that. But until then, what we can do is we can come in here and we can ride this bullish divergence and look for those as possible swing trade entries each time. Okay. Now the chart, may not have this bullish divergence in the next month or two, but this is a very good technique that I want more people to become familiar with. And I have a video breaking it down even more, where you can look and, see for yourself and set up for yourself some bullish and bearish divergence. Okay. So that way you can know when a stock potentially is going to have a move to the upside and when a stock is potentially going to have a move to the downside.